Alright, let's take a trip into the eerie heart of Philippine folklore where monsters don't just lurk in the shadows but sometimes they cry like a baby in the night. I'm talking about the Tiyanak. If you've ever heard local legends or watched a late-night Filipino horror flick, you know this creepy little creature is basically nightmare fuel. But where did the legend come from? And how did it crawl its way into the core of Filipino horror? Let's dig in. So, the Tiyanak's roots are tangled deep in pre-colonial Philippine mythology. Picture this: ancient villagers, thick jungles, and the constant fear of the unknown. The Tiyanak is said to be the spirit of a baby who died before baptism, lost, vengeful, and craving the warmth it was denied. In some stories, it's a child born from a woman who died before childbirth. Either way, it's all about lost innocence twisting into something monstrous. Now here's where things get wild. The Tiyanak doesn't just drift around like your typical ghost. Oh no, it shapeshifts. It transforms into a helpless, crying infant, luring travelers deep into the woods. And when you pick up what you think is an abandoned baby, surprise! It morphs into a sharp-toothed little demon and attacks. The lesson? Not every cry in the night deserves your sympathy. As Spanish colonizers arrived, the stories evolved, mixing Catholic beliefs with old superstitions. The Tiyanak became a warning: baptize your children or face the consequences. Pretty dark, right? But it's not just about scaring kids or enforcing religious rules. The Tiyanak speaks to universal fears: loss, guilt, abandonment, and the unknown. That's what turns an old myth into a cultural icon. Fast forward to modern times, and you'll see the Tiyanak everywhere. In movies, TV shows, even comics and video games. It's a staple of Filipino horror. But why does it still work so well? Because the idea of the innocent turning sinister, of something familiar becoming dangerous, taps straight into our deepest anxieties. Every culture has its monsters, but the Tiyanak is uniquely Filipino. It's shaped by centuries of oral tradition, colonization, and the timeless dread of what might be lurking just out of sight. Next time you hear a baby crying in the woods, maybe think twice before you go looking. Some legends are warnings wrapped in a ghost story, and the Tiyanak is a legend that refuses to die. If you love stories where folklore meets fear, the Tiyanak is the perfect example of how myth shapes not just horror, but the way a whole culture sees the shadows. Thanks for listening. Sleep tight.